And then the quintessential need to have is this bad boy.
Quintessential Queensland classic. Oh, it's a bit of a tongue twister.
A beer with the brewer.
A beer with the brewer.
Well, it's probably 2 beers with the brewer this time, isn't it? Realistically. If you want to be technical.
Oh, if you want to be literal about it.
No.
But the actual show is called A Beer with the Brewer.
This is true. Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of A Beer with the Brewer and the brewer himself, Mr. Cuthbert. How are we today?
Fantastic.
You seem a little bit happier. Is this a reason because we haven't canned today?
No, we haven't canned today, and we've just upgraded the canning machine.
Beautiful.
Leading
beautiful.
into Easter, so I'm.
So should be pinging cans off coming in after Easter.
Oh, we can only hope.
Yeah, I know.
We can only hope.
And I guess the other great thing is that we got the restrictions lifted
We
today.
did.
So everyone get on the beers.
Get on the beers, absolutely.
Get on
leading
the
us into
beers.
Easter.
The beers. All right, well, running into Easter, we have 2 new beers coming out. So our brand new one, and fast becoming a absolute classic in the lineup, is the Session Ale. So Maddie, fresh out this bad boy. We've done a few kind of renditions of this, but this is the latest one to come into can. So give us a little bit about this beer and why it tastes so bloody good.
Oh, look at that, beautiful.
Oh yeah,
Cheers. Mate. Happy Easter. Yes, so this little number, the Revelin Session Ale.
Yeah.
The latest addition in our, I guess, mid-strength range.
Yes.
Previously, we have done the beer as more of a pale ale, sort of the little brother to, I guess, Oxford Pale Ale.
Yep.
But this one, we had a bit of a chat about doing it again, and I guess it becoming sort of a more regular feature of the lineup. And while everyone sort of liked the pale ale, we thought we would lighten it up a bit.
It was a gold medal pale ale, wasn't it?
It was a gold medal,
Absolute
so I don't know
cracker.
what people were complaining about, but anyway. I was pretty happy with it. But this one, probably more based along the lines of our summer ale, the little brother to the summer ale.
Yeah.
So as you can see, it's pretty light. Got a bit of wheat haze. We've recently spoke about haze in a couple of other podcasts.
Been listening, otherwise backtrack and listen to all the classics.
Yes, that's right. Go back through the library. And then nice light base, got a bit of wheat in it, throw the haze, lighten it up. And then it uses 3 of our favourite New World hops.
Yes.
Nectaron, well, I think in Australia it's still Hort 4337.
Yes.
Strata and Enigma.
Oh, absolute bangers. Absolute bangers.
So I think we spoke a little while ago about doing our single hop beers.
Yes.
Single hop IPAs. And then finding ones we really liked and now combining them and using them into a beer.
Yep, definitely.
So yeah, they were 3 of the ones that really stood out for us over the last couple of years. All pretty new hops. And yeah, they've sort of melded together to make this really sort of nice tropical fruity flavour that suits their sort of lighter style.
Yeah, 100%.
The style's probably more closely an Australian pale ale, or New Age Australian pale ale, I guess. But 3.5%, so
Not
session
bad.
ale, very sessionable.
Definitely.
Good for people that are driving or you want to go down to the beach or whatever you want to do.
Couple of tins.
Couple of tins by the barbecue or whatever. Yeah, but just designed for sort of very drinkable.
Yep.
But still with plenty of flavour.
Yeah, 100%.
Which is sort of what we go for.
And like you said, plenty of flavour. You get some of those lighter types of one standard drink, 3.5 kind of sessions, and they kind of a little bit lackluster. They kind of just leave you wanting a little bit more on type of the hop profile kind of on the palate. Whereas this, it gives you pretty much everything. It gives you the light body, so very easily drinking, no fatigue or anything like that through drinking these. Very clean finish again, so it keeps you wanting more. And then you've got those really nice prominent hops coming through, which gives you that boost and balances that lighter body out. So you really get a kind of a full flavoured beer in a lighter option, which is absolutely fantastic.
So with making a mid-strength or a lower strength beer, you're using less malt because you don't need as much extract or sugar to make the alcohol.
Yeah.
So that's often why they taste a bit watery.
Yep.
To counter that, we've used what is called dextrin malt.
Okay.
So dextrins, for the more technical side of it out there, are the unfermentable sugars in malt that gives beer body.
Right.
So there's lots of different sugars within the malt that all ferment differently.
Yep.
And then the dextrins are the ones that sort of stick around in the beer.
Okay.
So we've loaded this up. I think it's about 25% dextrin malt.
Okay.
And that helps give the beer a bit more body
Right.
than, I guess, if you just used a pale malt or just wheat or something like that.
Yeah, at a lower rate.
Yeah, because basically all the sugar's fermented out. So
Yep.
you don't have a lot. And you literally have more water in the beer than you would in, say, a 5% beer.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so that's part of the, I guess the reason why these beers are lighter bodied. But yeah, you try and counter that so it doesn't just taste like water.
Yep. And I guess using those types of hop varieties that are kind of quite punchy as well, just to kind of bring that.
The other thing as
little bit
well, because the
boost.
beer is so light, if the beer is bitter or anything like that, it'll really stand out. So you could use the same amount of hops in, say, a light beer like this versus an IPA, and that would actually stand out a lot more.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot lighter base.
Yep.
So in terms of making it, you try and keep as much of the hops later in the process as possible.
Right.
So take a little bit out of the whirlpool, which is hot side, but still heavily dry hop it, where you get all that nice fruity aroma and stuff like that.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Well, another cracking one from the Revel.
Just in time for Easter.
Yes.
Stay safe out there.
Certainly is. And guests, jump on the socials. You'll find out where you can pick some of these up for the long weekend now that we're open. So anyway, cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers, Manny. Well done. Okay, guys, number 2 beer in our repertoire for today is the absolutely banging cult classic at this present time.
Cult classic.
Yeah, you like that one? The Mango and Macadamia Weisse. So, Maddie, this is becoming a little bit of a staple for us every couple of months, because everyone just keeps wanting more and more and more of it. And you can, if you have had this, you can definitely see why people are climbing over each other to get this at the shelves, because it just does what it does what it says, doesn't it? It's just absolutely
like a Weisse
beautiful.
bar.
It's absolutely beautiful. I mean, look at the color of that and how that presents. It's just magical. Oh, beautiful mango flavour. How good's mango in Queensland? It's a quintessential.
The best, really. So this little number, the Mango Mac Weisse Sour. Weisse Sour.
Wrap me up in that.
Sour, depending where you're from.
Yeah.
We first brewed this, I don't know, middle of last year.
Somewhere around there.
Maybe leading into spring.
I think it was. Maybe
on our little
October.
1,500 litre fermenters over at Oxford Street.
Yep.
And it sort of gained instant fame. It was, I think at the time, was almost the most popular beer we'd done. In terms of how quickly it sold, and
yeah, I
the
mean,
feedback
it pretty
and
much was sold before I even pulled it out of the tank.
people
So-
just,
and
wanting
then
more.
people actually tasted it and they're like, well, we want more. And we're like, well, sorry, we can't give
And
you
then
more.
we
but-
come over here
Brew
to a Riverside, and straight away brewed 7,000 litres. So we've jumped, what's that, 5 times in volume?
Yeah.
The second time we made it, and it sold out nearly as quickly.
Yeah, 100%.
And now this is the third time, just in time for Easter. So
Exactly.
tasting pretty good. It's looking nice and mango-y.
Very nice.
We actually, when we packaged this on Monday, it took me a good
yeah.
4 or 5 hours to get some carbonation into it. So
So juicy.
one thing with beer and foam and carbonation, people have probably picked it up in hazy IPAs, where people post beautiful photos of a hazy IPA and it's got absolutely no foam.
It just looks mud.
Looks like mud, looks flat. And there's a reason for that. It's because of, it's so viscous, often with yeast and whatever else is in there, it won't actually hold the foam because it's foam negative.
Yeah.
So a beer like this is full of fruit, full of mango in this case, obviously.
Yep.
And you can see that had a nice foam on it when we poured it. But yeah, the head sort of dies off. It is actually carbonated reasonably high. So
Yeah.
as I said before, with the Session Ale, how it's a lighter beer, you don't actually need as much carbonation I guess, for it to appear carbonated or the perception of carbonation.
Yes.
Whereas one like this, I literally spent 5 hours pumping CO2 into it. Normally a beer will carb like in an hour.
Yeah.
And it just, because it's fruit, it won't absorb the carbonation.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it doesn't have the head, but it still has the mouthfeel.
Oh, absolutely.
For carbonation. So you're not losing it all. It's just not presenting it as a head on the beer. So it really kind of dances across the tongue.
So when you can see when you pour it, it is lively, and then it just won't hold the foam. But
It doesn't matter.
In terms of the flavour, the mango's there, macadamia, and a little bit of coconut. Is also, it doesn't say coconut, but that's also part of the recipe.
Yes, winning combination.
But yeah, becoming a bit of a classic, something we'll probably make, I don't know, once every 2 or 3 months.
Yeah, definitely. If everyone just keeps wanting it, and everyone does, we'll just keep punching it out.
So semi-regular beer, not a core beer, but semi-regular beer.
Yep, on rotation.
Yeah. We are punching out, I guess, almost 1 sour a month now.
Yep.
As a sort of wider release.
Yeah, one of our Riverside. 2 kind of limited releases a month is usually a sour series.
Yeah, so we did the pina colada. Before that, the frosty fruit.
Yep.
In tank we have
frosty fruit. Jeez, that was so good.
That was almost my favourite.
Yeah.
In tank we have a traditional lemonade sour. So out of shot at the moment, there's an awful lot of lemon and lime. That
When are you doing that?
Well, I asked my off-sider, Wes, to do that, but he swiftly told us he was going home for Easter, so...
He didn't use it in so many words. He didn't use it in hand gestures, I think.
Sign language.
Yeah.
Nice wave.
Yeah, if that's what you want to call it.
So if you do happen to watch this, Wes, shout out, mate. Happy Easter.
Thanks, mate. Yeah, cheers.
But that fruit will be waiting for you on Tuesday, mate.
Lucky I'm off on Tuesday. That's good. It doesn't look like fun. But anyway, the things that you do to get the perfect beer.
But yeah, making the sours, as we've spoken before, it goes through the process. They're a fair bit more involved than, I guess, what you would call a normal beer.
Yep.
Not that we really do that many normal beers. They spend 24 to 48 hours actually going through the souring process.
Yep.
With our house lacto strain, cultivated from a secret source. And then you pitch them with yeast and they ferment out like a normal beer would.
Yep.
And then 5-6 days into the fermentation, we put the fruit in, ferment out the fructose so that we don't have any issues in trade with them re-fermenting and stuff like that. And then basically at that point they get treated as a normal beer. But almost every time it is a new idea, a new concept that we've never done before. So we're sort of, obviously a lot of planning goes in, but you are sort of making it up as you go.
Exactly.
It's almost like cooking where you need a little bit more of this, a little bit more of that. Sometimes they work out perfect from the start.
I think we spoke about it in 1 or 2 previous episodes in relation to, yes, we are working with natural products, aren't we? And there is variations with the climates and things like that. And that's why you always have to be checking and testing and doing all these kind of quality checks and flavor profile tests and everything like that, just to get where you actually want the beer to sit and try and get that consistent. And this, I think this one's probably one of the best. I think the balance of it, it's got that slight sourness there, but the sweetness comes through from the mango. The mango is really prominent. It drops away and then lets that kind of meatiness of the coconut and everything like that come through at the end. And it's just such an enjoyable drink to drink. It just gives you everything that you want.
Because making a sour, there's so many more variables, like even in the souring process.
Yeah.
So they're never going to be the same beer twice in a row.
Yeah, exactly.
It's sort of like small batch brewing. So
yep.
Each batch is going to have its own sort of idiosyncrasies.
And I guess and also it comes with the bacteria strain that we use. If once you use it and reuse it and reuse it, it gets healthier and healthier, and it produces different things.
It's actually amazing the way bacteria works compared to yeast. So I prop it up from a tiny little packet. Prop means grow.
Yep.
Into say a little 25 litre keg of wort, and let it go for 2 or 3 days. And then that is enough to pitch into 3,500 litres of wort.
Yeah, wow.
And then it just exponentially multiplies and will sour, like sometimes as quickly as 24 hours.
Yeah.
Normally I leave it 48 just to give it that bit of extra
And is that
time.
the healthiness of it in relation to how it sours, like
Yeah.
the quickness and everything like that of it?
Yeah. Yeah, well, I guess the vitality, which is sort of how healthy it is.
That's a good.
Yeah, vitality. That's how you describe yeast. It's
Yes.
viability and vitality,
Yeah, okay,
which is
nice.
similar with your bacteria culture. And then before we boil it again to kill the bacteria, I reclaim the culture into our, well, it's actually a yeast keg, but we use it for bacteria. And then you put it in the fridge, and then if we do one in a month's time, you just put it back in, and off it goes again.
Again, it
so it's
grows
like
and grows and grows.
a live culture. So if anyone's been to the chemist and got IBS tablets, and they keep them in a fridge, it's exactly the same. It just keeps it alive.
Oh, right.
So we've got a live culture that we use, and the previous one we had, I think we used it up to 8 to 10 times.
Something like that.
And then over time, it actually got yeast into the culture. So we looked at it under the microscope, identified there was yeast, and thought, all right, this is good for the last one. We tasted it, still come through clean.
Yep.
And then we restart it. So it's all about monitoring it each time, seeing how it goes, seeing how it sours, and then if you need to, you start it again. So sort of like yeast, but it's a lot more tolerant than yeast is.
Yep.
Like you wouldn't put yeast in the fridge for 6 weeks and forget about it and then reuse it.
Yeah.
Yeast sort of needs to be maybe used within a week to 2 weeks max. Yeah. So it's,
Very interesting.
it is. Like as we do more, I learn more and more about it. It's
It's ever changing, right?
Oh, absolutely,
Strains and all that kind of stuff.
The strain we use is called Lactobacillus plantarum. So there's 6, 7 different strains that you can do it with, and they all sort of create different flavor profiles.
Yep.
This one's really clean and works really quickly. So yeah, sort of what we're after.
Lets everything else shine through.
Exactly.
Yeah, perfect. Oh, well, guys, jump on the socials, get down to the local stockist for this bad boy because, as always, it runs out the door. So, Matty, just another absolutely...
Dropping just in time for
banging
Easter.
Oh, mate, it'll be on the shelves for sure. The boys have been working overtime to get it out to everyone, especially in the lockdown.
Yeah.
Because I think we thought it was going to open up, so everyone needed to be involved. So, Matty,
So
cheers on this one.
Cheers.
Absolutely fantastic. And couple of highlights in the coming months. We've got a few new beers coming out.
Yeah, so we've got a few, I guess, project beers, which will feature in episodes, I guess, in the future.
Definitely.
Now we're sort of predominantly brewing here at Riverside as a production.
Yeah.
We can use Oxford Street, our sort of base, to do some more interesting stuff. So over there at the moment, we have two more sours.
Two more sours.
Two more sours. So we brewed our Gabs Festival beer.
All right.
A sour heavily loaded with berries.
Nice.
We won't give too much away on that one.
Yeah. Everyone will have to just join us for the festivities at that event if it comes through. I think it's in July, somewhere in there.
Yeah, somewhere around there, depending what happens.
Yep.
And then we did a little trip down to Adelaide last week. Went to a couple of wineries, a couple of breweries.
Strictly business.
Strictly business, of course. But basically, we have done this year's version of the Montepulciano IPA.
Yep.
With a different grape, so it's going to be a rosé IPA.
Rosé IPA.
And we've made our first ever wine, which is pretty cool. So we got the wine juice, Cabernet, shipped up from the McLaren Vale.
Yep.
And it's now in tank, naturally fermenting away. So stay tuned for that one. In about a month's time, we might be sitting here sipping on a rosé.
Oh, that'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Absolutely.
Right.
So
rosé
some
IPA.
pretty cool little projects. I guess having that extra tank space and stuff to play around is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's good. Down to the OG.
Interesting things.
Awesome.
At the Thew fermentation project, I think we're gonna.
Self-appointed. Anyway, guys. Cheers, Matty.
Cheers, mate.
Happy Easter. Hope everyone has a safe and enjoyable break. Get down to the local stockist to grab a 4-pack or a carton of these and enjoy it with your friends and family. So, cheers. See you next time.